when I go live on YouTube, I got to remember to close the window after it goes live, or it just keeps repeating.
Uh,
So I have to wait until, okay. Looks like I'm on. When I go live on YouTube. There we go. Okay. So that's done. And now, all right, I think everything's working. Yep. Okay. So your buddy Warren is here today again. Maybe you'll learn some new stuff.
yeah, I'm ready.
He's good. He's really good. I'm glad we could get him. Summertime I found is very difficult to get people booked and stuff because of summer schedules, and so I've jammed in a bunch of people this week, but I really had no alternative. So hopefully that doesn't bother everybody.
I don't think so.
Yeah, hopefully not. Okay, so all right. Does your creek stop rising, or is it still rising?
Um, no, it's like starting to flood almost to where ECU was digging those graves up at. It's like about to flood there now.
Oh no,
So
that's terrible.
like like uh it's like when you drive over the bridge, like the water in the bridge is like right at the same level right now.
Oh, I hate that. I hate that. Yeah, I know with some of the hurricanes that's happened around here, and nothing's scarier than going over a bridge and the water on both sides of you is equal to the bridge. It's like, holy shit.
I was in Floyd. I was on Old River Road when Floyd came when it went under.
Oh my God.
Um, and I literally was on a hill and watched my house as it went as the water rose. And I had a project car, a 1979 Corolla I've been working on, and to this day we still haven't found that car. Like
Oh my
it,
God.
like when the water went down, like all my stuff that was outside was gone and the car was gone. Um, like the water, the word, like I had a king size water bed, and the water, the basically the power of the water rushed through the house. It knocked all the windows out, and it took the frame and the mattress. The mattress was all the way at the end of the opposite end of the house, and the frame was in the living room.
Oh my God.
Like the water, that's how strong the water was, and I lost I lost everything except for my family, like in the clothes we had on our back. Like we escaped.
Wow. Did you have
Um,
any insurance at all?
yeah, but here's the thing. So literally when I bought, do you remember the old Richard Pryor moving?
I remember his comedy routine about The Exorcist, which is one of
Okay.
the funniest ones I've ever heard in my life.
Well, when I bought the land from the guy, like he said you have to sign this, and I was like 500-year floodplain. He was like, oh yeah, that's just something I have to tell you. You're in a floodplain, but it's like every 500 years it floods. I was like, when did it flood last? He was like 499 years. Like the possibility of it flooding again is slim to none.
Yeah.
The next year it flooded out. Like so kind of like I signed over port of like the thing, so I couldn't get flood insurance at that time. So it was really messed up.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, so yeah, 499 years ago it flooded. So I mean, you don't have to worry about it. It slim to none chance of it happen. I was like, oh sure.
Yeah, Slim is gone, and none is left town, right? I mean, forget it. Wow, it's crazy. Well, I was reading this thing the other day about a place called Doggerland. Have you ever heard of that? Doggerland, Doggerland.
No.
So apparently, Doggerland, some X time ago, was the land between what is now the UK and continental Europe, which is now, of course, underwater. But at that time, it was really considered the heart of Europe. Tons of people lived there, relatively speaking, tons of animals. It was like a coastal plain kind of place. So they have since found all of these artifacts and fossils and stuff, and they figured out that it was like the main part of Europe for thousands and thousands of years, and it just disappeared in a tsunami. They think a one-time flooding event put it all underwater. Um, so it's, shit happens, right? That's all I can say. An entire continent disappeared. So I don't know. Hey, Warren, how are you, buddy?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Doing fine, thanks. We're really happy you're here today. And we're going to wait a little bit. I know it's a little bit after 1. I want to give it another minute or two. I'm waiting for Grant to join so he can let other people in when I'm not paying attention. So we'll just give him a minute or two. Hey, Chris, how are you, buddy? Okay. All right. Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes peeled for Grant and hopefully he'll hop on here. So, all right. So, hey, everybody, thanks for joining us today. We have one of our favorite guests, who's Warren Allen, who is the CEO of a company called Clickfirm and has several other online businesses, I believe. And what he's talked about in the past included some stuff about Google that he's willing to share with our group. And I'm sure he's come up with even more stuff. So without further ado, let me make him the co-host, which I always forget to do. Sorry. There we go. And so now, Warren, hopefully you're co-host, and I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks, Dennis. How's everybody doing today?
They got their microphones off, so
Sure.
we don't have to listen to dogs barking or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Maybe you can help fill me in then. What are some of the, usually when we kind of first get into this, it helps to get a little bit of a guide on what some of these businesses are.
Yeah, so we have some clothing brands. We have a digital music operation in Greenville, digital radio station and digital media production company. We have some specialty food manufacturers that make jams and jellies and snacks and different things like that that are located actually all around the state. We have the largest butterbean farmer in the world, Chris Neal, who's here, and I think that kind of covers it. We have some other clothing retailers, I guess, so small clothing retailers, people that are making specialty type clothing and selling it online. So I think that covers it.
Cool. Actually, I have a video about a jam company that I could share with you guys today. So
Cool.
maybe I'll kind of get into that. And let me see. Can you guys see the? Let's see here. Can you guys see the?
Yep.
Perfect. Good deal.
Yep.
So I can kind of like start with this, and it'll give you a little bit of reference from Google about what people are doing now with Google and some of the avenues that we can kind of go down and talk about, whether it's from the paid ad side, kind of like this person, or some SEO side or website side, and maybe answer and field some questions after that.
Great.
Cool.
I don't think the sound is on, Warren.
Gotcha. So you're not hearing anything?
No, not yet.
Gotcha.
I think when you share your screen, you have to hit that little button to share the audio with a little checkbox.
You hear it now?
I can't. No luck. I have bought this product and I really like it. I think it's really different flavors, and so it's great you have her on here to figure out how to do the sound. Yeah, no luck.
Hey, Dennis, were you saying you can or can't hear it?
Cannot hear it.
Gotcha. All right, we'll just skip that. Go straight to a PowerPoint. How about that?
Okay. Just by the way, she started in Charlotte before she moved to Brooklyn.
Really?
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. Really good products. I really like them.
Yeah, basically the essence of the video was that she was selling to a lot of local retailers. She was making products and had some businesses that were willing to sort of distribute what she had. She was impacted by COVID, and pretty much a lot of the smaller retail shut down, and she had just went full time. The same story you've heard 1,000 times, but she really leaned into the web side of it, and she started paying for some Google ads, launched the e-commerce site, and increased her sales 1,000 times.
Oh my
Or
God.
1,000, it was a 1,000% increase on her sales. She went from producing, I forgot what it was, a few hundred jars a week to a few thousand a week.
Wow.
So much so that she had to get co-packers and do a lot of stuff. And so
Yeah,
I kind of picked that.
that's cool. She's
Yeah.
got a third-party logistics provider in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Uh,
Because I kind of followed her supply chain a little bit, and she seems to be doing really, really well. And one of the things she does that I think is unusual, so I'm diabetic, so I have to watch my sugar, and a lot of her jams are extremely low sugar.
Really?
So that's what caught my eye, and they taste incredibly good,
Yeah.
even with that. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I've got it in my refrigerator right now.
Yeah. I think that's a testament to, I like to use that sort of example, and then an example with my grandfather's business, who owns a small hunting shop on 264 and Eastern North Carolina, that their traffic had gone down for years and years and years, and was kind of slowly dying out as a rural business. And eventually, we just did some simple things. We used Google My Business. We used free tools. We didn't pay for any ads. We even made just a free website for them. My business can make websites, and that's kind of what we do a lot of. But we used every single tool Google gave us, and that made it easy for them to understand, easy for them to edit and change. And within a year, they had hundreds of views, and then it was like thousands of views, and it's still a small little shop, but they had more sales in a 1 month period than they had in like a whole quarter that year before.
Wow.
And it was just, it's a story, I know because I was there, and it's easy to feel like the web is complicated when you see like maybe some of the websites or customers that I have that are doing thousands and thousands of dollars online marketing. They're spending thousands of dollars on websites and consultants and designers and all this, and think, man, I can never do that, or I'll never see the return on it. The thing is, there's a lot of tools available to you that you can do for free, or that you can do on your own. A lot of effort you can put in on your own to get to the top of Google, not just locally, but nationally. And there's very measured ways to use a small sum of money in paid ads, or maybe sharing images on Google My Business, whatever it is, that's not going to cost you a lot, that you'll see a huge increase in returns on. And so I will share another screen with you.
I love your Nice Grills logo is dancing around behind you.
Yeah, the Nice Girls guy, he's pretty funny. Yeah, I'm going to show you a slide that says, don't show this to anyone. All right, so can you guys see this slide?
Yep,
Cool.
got it.
All right, let me see if I can. All right, reaching customers online with Google. So we kind of already hinted at a few different things. We saw, I heard at least about the jam maker. She was using Google Ads and some other things. We've talked a little bit about SEO and some website stuff, but we'll kind of play through this, and that'll give us a better kind of guided talk here. So 80+% of, yeah, let some people into the room. 80+% of growth for searches use local businesses year over year. So that's right up the alley of a lot of the people here. People are more cognizant of a local business. People want to support local businesses even more. And that's why Google search is super important. We saw how much people came together and created groups on Facebook and stuff to support local businesses. But, again, another statistic here, 61% of US consumers think buying online, picking up in-store curbside will be beneficial to them in the future. So it's not just the, online shopping, but actually buying things online and then picking it up somewhere locally.
Is that, would you say though, that statistic applies to Eastern North Carolina also? Are you seeing that, Warren? That high,
Yeah, I think that with Eastern North Carolina and a lot of these businesses is that it's, one, people are ordering food-based stuff, but trying to relate it back to the businesses you mentioned are in this class, it seems as though we have some online retailers in the apparel business. We have some farmers. We have some small businesses like Jam Stuff. Those are probably not cases where someone's going to pick up
yeah,
locally.
yeah,
I think, those are ones where if you're either producing a product and you're branding it and selling it in a way someone's going to find it online, or you're creating a following, attacking a niche, whether it's apparel. We recently worked on one for pilots through last year. It was a specific demographic with a pretty limited product set, but we launched a site and some apparel on that, but used really specific advertising to that group.
okay.
I'm going to skip that video because it seems like the audio stuff is still giving us trouble. So to learn how Google search works, someone comes in there, they ask it a question, right? I've seen a lot of statistics to say like over 90% of now purchase decisions involve some sort of Google search, whether it's in the store while they're buying it or they're doing that ahead of time. I think that's really powerful. We talked about this in the last class with Dennis, was that a lot of people spend time on Facebook and social media, and they're kind of advertising to this audience that has been following them for a while, but they're not necessarily new customers, or they're customers that are supporting you because they're friends, family, other type of thing. And to make a business succeed, you have to be able to scale beyond your immediate crowd. If anything, I like testing some stuff without even telling friends or family about it, because if it's going to take friends and family to make it work, then it's probably not going to work. That might be how you get started to kind of prove the concept, but the real key is when you can unlock the advertising beyond that group. So we've all seen this too. You go to search, that a little mini auction happens actually, and all the people who are advertising on Google, it creates a little bid, and then the people who are willing to bid the most money for a click, their ad goes to the top. Nobody pays for ads on Google unless you click for them. So that's a myth we could dispel here, is that, well, it's pointless to advertise those banner ads because nobody ever clicks them. And well, you don't pay if they don't click them. And Google wouldn't be like one of the richest companies in the world if people didn't click on those ads. So,
Yeah, can I ask you, Warren, at that point, is this like a live auction, or is this some kind of automated process where their bids?
It's super automated. It works pretty similarly. Like you kind of set a max or minimum bid, and you can do that per keyword. If you're doing search ads, shopping ads, you can kind of get it down to the product.
Okay,
And then there's an X factor in it, and that is your quality score.
I see.
And we'll kind of get to that. But essentially, if you have a low quality score, you pay a little bit of a premium. And if you have a high one, you get a discount.
I see.
And that plays a big advantage to companies that do something really specific. Say you sell butterbean seeds, and you're like the only person in the world who sells butterbean seeds or whatever. I know that's not really how it works, but anyways, if you're the only person advertising butterbean seeds on Google and there's not 1,000 other people advertising against you, then you're not going to pay a lot of money because no, it's an auction, and if no one's competing against you, then the clicks are going to be cheap. There's also an equation of the volume. You know, how many people are really in the world searching for something like an airplane wheel in a month? You know, so if we had a customer that sold airplane parts, you know, say there's only 10 people in the US on a day that searches airplane wheels, you know, they're not going to spend a ton of money on that because it's something very specific and it's in a small group of people. You know, so that's kind of how that auction works on the Google ads. So don't be scared of them. You can do them yourself and set them up for like $100 a month. I have some of the biggest or the highest, you know, revenue producing companies that I work with spend the least amount of money. And then I have smaller companies that spend the most amount of money. And that's because they're just in markets that are more competitive. And so much more of their business is derived from paid ads. Does that kind of answer some questions on how that auction works? Or
Yeah, it's perfect.
yeah. So yeah, an example for that, like if you've heard of like Grover Gaming in Greenville, I worked, you know, I was their marketing director for like 8 years, and we never really spent a lot of money on Google ads. It was kind of something I was into, but our category of gaming was so specific to electronic pool tabs, and we were only like one of 3 people, it just wasn't necessary to spend a lot of money. And that's a huge company experiencing huge growth, and you know, sometimes leads cost us $1, whereas a divorce attorney might pay $100 for a click.
I see.
You know, just because they're in a more saturated market.
I got you. Is
Looking
that,
at this,
can I just ask you another question about that? So you just gave an example of somebody who didn't have to pay a lot for a lead compared to somebody, a divorce attorney in this case, might pay a lot more.
yeah,
Is that regionalized? In other words, do each region kind of have those characteristics? Like maybe Eastern North Carolina, maybe there are more farmers, I'm just making this up, or more food
yeah,
related stuff versus say someone living in a city. Does that make sense?
yeah. It really depends on where the searcher is, like where is the user that's searching, how concentrated is that compared to the area that you're advertising in. So, for example, in North Dakota, there's a gaming company there, and he spends, you know, less than $100 a month on Google Ads because, you know, there's just not a lot of people in North Dakota. That's the only state he can sell stuff in. And, you know, I think there's like 770,000 people there. And in his industry, there's probably like 17 to 50 people in like the whole state that are going to buy his type of product. So, um,
I got you.
yeah. Whereas if you're in Raleigh and you're a divorce attorney and you're competing against 1,000 other divorce attorneys, and there's, you know, not but so many people trying to get divorced every day, you're just going to pay a lot of money because that auction runs up high. Something else, I guess, kind of move on past the ads and we can get back to that, is that you see on the Google search, you'll see this Google business profile and then your organic results. This is where we saw extreme success with the Warren's Dog and Hunt Supplies as far as free advertising. This is where a local shop would see a lot of success. I don't think we have a lot of that here, so I won't dwell on it too much. But if you think about what everyone's doing before they're purchasing something, they're going to Google, you know, if they're like healthy snacks, healthy jams, whatever it happens to be. If you're a local business and you're nearby them and they search that, it's significantly more likely that your business profile will come up at the top than it will your website within the organic search results. Those are much more competitive than a local or regionally based business. Um, you'll see now when you search, if you do an example, you'll see maps, you'll see Google, you know, suggested businesses, you'll see the paid ads. You have to almost scroll to the second page to see an organic search result or something. So the lesson there is really take advantage of that Google business profile, download Google My Business, download it on your phone. There's just overwhelming evidence that being active on Google My Business, thinking of it more like a social media. If you're going to post pictures on Facebook to a bunch of people that already know about your business, to me, it makes more sense to post pictures on your Google My Business profile, which is going to get advertised to a bunch of people who are looking for your business and don't know about your business. Those are the people that you want to be able to reach. Spending 95% of your effort and one little small circle of people that are already aware of you may not be the best return on effort. A little bit of effort, maybe if you just 30 minutes a week on posting a few pictures, or actively asking every person who interacts with your business to leave a review on your Google, you're more than likely to see that success within that part of the Google ecosystem.
Do videos work as well as photos, or do you like photos better in that
You
sense?
can share videos on there. It's just harder for most businesses to come up with a video or produce it or edit it. And if it seems difficult, most people won't do it. But if you have customers in your shop and you just take a picture and post it, then that's an easy thing, and just do that. And it's when people click on your business profile, they're going to see recent pictures. They're going to see that people are coming to your business. They're going to see products in it, whatever it happens to be. And if there's not a lot of competing businesses in your region, then you're more likely to show up in a wider part of someone's map search. Someone might be 100 miles away, and if you're the only person who does something, say gun dog supply, like the hunting business, if someone's looking for supplies specifically for hunting dogs, that sort of business will show up on maps to someone searching from much further away, because they're one small business and there might not be another one similar to that in like a whole state. So there's a lot of advantages there to it. And again, most purchase decisions are happening at Google. Some people can do stuff with Instagram ads and some other stuff, but that's sort of a different thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah. The organic, to kind of get onto how that works, or to how to populate within the organic search, this is explaining to us Google basically scans all the pages, they're indexing it, which means they're sort of saving the information all over the world in servers. And then when you go to search and you type in, the advanced algorithm reaches into all these pages that have already been scanned and then pulls up content that they feel is relevant. And then they preference sites that have a few other key features they're going to talk about here, which is they're going to want people to have a fast website, a mobile friendly website, and they want recent content. So these slides are just kind of talking a little bit more about where the organic search is, but you guys know all that. So here, publish great content. A funny example of this is that we work with WorldCat Boats, one of the larger boat manufacturers in the region, and we do a lot of their SEO. Earlier on, they kind of just want to spend a lot of money on Google ads because the thought of outranking companies like Boston Whaler or Grady White for certain search terms just seemed far-fetched. They thought we're a small manufacturer. We kind of make specialty boats. It's going to be impossible. Everyone thinks it's impossible for us to rank on the homepage of Google. No one knows how to do that. One of the first articles they did, we said, hey, what are some things that people are looking for, or why would people purchase your type of product? So all of you out there that have or sell products, think about it. What is someone searching? Like, what's a feature of your product that someone may go to Google and search for? Or what would someone want to know about a product like yours? What kind of information can you provide them? This is what should give you your ideas on what sort of content should be on your site, what sort of blogs you should write, and what sort of articles you should be sharing. In their case, one of their features is that it can go in shallow water. The catamaran boat has a shallow draft. So it's okay, let's write an article about shallow draft boats. That was the top article. We wrote what that meant, what kind of features are on it. And it was a simple little thing. I mean, I don't even think it was 1,000 words. It was probably like a couple paragraphs and only had one picture on it. Within a month, that was ranking #1 on Google for if someone put in best shallow draft boats. And I'm pretty sure it's still sitting there over a year later. So we just took, hey, what is a feature? And then now every person in the world who's researching, a $250,000 boat is probably going to type in things like, what's going to operate in shallow water better? Every customer that's in that segment is going to use that sort of search phrase, and then they're populating at the top of that, and they have, for over a year. So anyone that's found out about their brand through that happened essentially for free. Because in your case, any one of you could like write an article or, do that sort of work on your own, and share it. And there was nothing fancy done, nothing technical SEO wise done. The only thing Google wants to do is deliver the best information to people who are looking for it. So that's how you should think about your content. Is this providing some information to people who are looking for it? And if that answer is on your website, then when someone's searching for that answer, Google's likely to share your information with that person.
Okay, Warren, I'd like to just take a second here because I think this is a critical point that you're making. I'm not sure we talked a lot about it in the class, but creating content, in this case, it could be content that's on your website. It could be content that's on a blog. But the important point here is really, you've got to provide content. You can't just put up pictures and prices. The content, it plays an outsized role in product discovery in the Google world. And I think Warren's making a really good case here. A simple 2-paragraph focused content on a particular aspect that's important to that business made that business #1 on Google for a long period of time. So I just want to emphasize the importance of regularly creating content and posting it, and hopefully it's relevant to your business so that you can be discovered. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and replicate, duplicate that. People who listen to Gary V, he talks about kind of piecing like 30 pieces of content out of one piece of content. So maybe you make a video, a 10-minute video just talking about something about your product or anything, and then pull the transcript from that and kind of make it an article, and then share that same article on LinkedIn and share it on your website. Maybe share a snippet of it on Facebook with a link to your website, and sort of create this web, because the more of these little links Google catches from your content to other mentions of it, that helps as well. The backlinks don't, I feel like, help as much as they used to in the past, so it's almost worth not worrying a whole lot about them, but just produce that good content, and start. Maybe just do one a month. I have a customer and a car accessory business, and they, if they put best rims, we did an article like best off-road rims, and after a few months, it took about 45 days or whatever, but after about a year, that article started getting hits, and they're like, wow, people are visiting the site, and we just wrote this one little thing about best whatever. We should do a lot more of that. And for a business like that that's spending thousands on Google ads or more, like a lot of money on Google ads, getting that free traffic is essential. It's a good part of the mix. And also, by ranking for those keywords organically, it's going to help your search ads with their quality score, which in turn makes that cheaper. So it's sort of the seedlings that you can start with when you don't have a lot of money and you might have more time on your hands. And then as you get busier, maybe you have somebody write content for you, or you start just paying for more ads, because you can't write content every day, whatever it happens to be. But yeah, another example is Taylor Walden, who did Brewmate Tumblers. She made some simple articles. We focused on personalized Brewmate hopsilators, a kind of a specific product and a specific part of it, having it personalized. And she made a simple article. It had 10 sort of ways you could personalize your Brewmate hopsilator. And, within a month, that article is ranking higher than Brewmate's, the actual factory website. They even reached out to the factory and said, hey, we are on Google higher than you. Could we, do this service for you? Clearly, we're getting all the traffic on Google for it. So I mean, just another example of a local business who took a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of effort and ranked at the top of Google. So, I mean, that's, I guess, kind of what this whole thing is about. So,
That's incredible. Incredible.
yeah.
Taylor is with Simple and Sentimental. I think some of you may know her. And she's probably, hopefully, she'll be speaking to the class here before too much longer.
Yeah. This this slide is just highlighting Google Trends. It's pretty cool. g.co/trends. You can type in different search terms, and that can sort of guide your strategy on that content. You know, what are people searching for off-road rims, or are they searching for truck bed covers? And then you could say, okay, well, this one's more popular than that one. Maybe we just focus our effort on that, which is sometimes the hard thing to do, is like, what do we need to spend a lot of our effort on? You know, just kind of start somewhere and then move on. And we'll get a little bit of tracking too, but when you start tracking it, or you have a company track that for you, where you're ranking organically, and you find out that you're ranking on the home page on Google for something, like, it's pretty cool. So if you guys like, it's kind of just telling you to search that and try it out if you want. Design for speed and usability. We see that, you know, Google's published over 60% of users are on mobile now. So the search engine actually is mobile forward. Websites that are mobile friendly first see significant advantages in search ranking versus websites that were designed for desktop browser. There are some exceptions to that, where you may be in like semiconductor development. You do something really industrial and specific, and most of the people searching that are probably sitting in their office. Those are some cases, but as far as selling things direct to consumer, it has to be mobile forward. I say, like, do everything on your site that you can design, and then pull it up on your mobile phone. Like, never test stuff on your website from your desktop, because that's not how most of the people are going to be looking at it. I have some customers whose ads, over 90% of the clicks, that's almost pretty universal, 90% of clicks happen from mobile phones. And we can adjust that. You know, if you're paying for a marketing company that monitors it, they might say, hey, people on mobile phones aren't buying as much as people from desktop. Let's bid lower on those devices and higher on something else. But when you're first getting started, you really need to design for speed and usability. And Google actually has a tool for that. I think they'll mention, yeah, on this next slide. You can go to, yeah, just search Google page speed score, or go to this link that they've put there, test my site, and it'll give you, you know, a report. This is especially important for rural businesses, because a lot of users, and especially if you have more of a regional audience, are on slower networks, or maybe on slower devices, or they may be more in the woods, or more towards the beach, more in the mountains, and they just don't have, you know, really good signal. You know, you drive to an office in the middle of a city, and then you test everything, and you say, my website works great, like, it's super fast. But I've done countless reports for businesses where we can do a test and say, well, what if this person was in a Hosky, you know, on a 6-year-old iPhone? Like, what does your website look like then? How fast is it then? And more often than not, it's pretty terrible. So having something pretty simple and pretty fast is important. And if you're using a website host like Squarespace or Wix or something like that, Shopify, they're going to all take care of that for you. There isn't a whole lot more you can do to get faster when you're using a hosted platform that is really self-service. Anything on speed or any sort of technical part of it? Or
I think, you know, those of you who've been online for a while, you may well have the awareness of the mobile versus your desktop, but I think it is important to know your particular situation. Where is the majority of the traffic come from, and what does your site look like for those people? I think that's the major point here.
yeah. And that takes us into this next thing, which is some other tools from Google that'll give you that data. Be sure to sign up for Google Search Console. Um, it sounds like there's a million little like Google accounts you have to sign up for. I promise you, it's not too much. And most of the time, it's pretty quick to sign up for it. There's Google Search Console, Google Analytics, are really your main two. Search Console works differently in analytics in that it takes a little bit more active role in analyzing your site and giving you feedback on errors to fix. And it also gives you some tools, some more advanced tools, such as maybe links to your website that are spam. You can go in there and cancel them out. Or if there's, some links or pictures on your site that when you click on them, they take you to an old page that doesn't exist anymore. Google Search Console is going to find that kind of stuff, and they'll send you emails about it and say, hey, we found a broken link on this page. And you can actually just go in there, see all the errors, and you can even press a button and say, submit fix. So if you fix things, and that's all. Site health is important to Google because they don't, their business is delivering good websites. So if your website, when they send their customer being someone on Google to your website, and everything they click on is spam or doesn't work, it reflects poorly on Google's delivery of your website. Kind of when thinking about SEO, you have to think about what is it that Google's trying to do and how do they make money. And if you can help them, they'll help you, sort of the way I think about it. So that's Google Search Console.
I like that. I
yeah.
think that idea of understanding, how they make money and how you can assist and getting a benefit in return is a really healthy way to look at it.
Yeah. Even looking at their new features, something that Taylor did well was she did a lot of bulleted list and a lot of list of pictures, and Google rewarded her for that on a lot of things. Whereas when someone would search like what to put in a bridesmaid box, we've all seen it. Google now wants to sort of just give you an answer and not even take you to the website. And they're able to find these little snippets and post them, and nobody really knows how or why they pick certain ones. But in her case, for a long time, many of her articles with these bulleted lists would show up at the top of Google, and it would say simpleandsentimental.com, and then it would take up, a large portion of the search result page would just be a giant list from her website and then another link at the bottom. So it's one thing to show up on the homepage. It's another thing to take up half the homepage. Some people would die to be in the number 6 spot, but to be in number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, as far as screen real estate, is a pretty cool feature. Again, that's just putting a bulleted list on an article. It's nothing fancy.
Really cool.
A little activity Google's pointing us to here, and one that I do with most businesses if we come in as a consultant, is to go on Google and search for what your business provides. It's a pretty common thing for business owners or upper management or executives to know exactly what to search to have their business pull up at the very top. I make fun of my friends own a restaurant equipment company, and they say, well, every time you search our name, we come up. So we just don't see why it's important to really spend much time or effort on Google, But therein lies the problem, is that if someone already knows their name, then, who cares? They're going to find you anyways. The thing is someone going to find you when they search ice machine repair or commercial restaurant building construction? When someone puts all that together on Google and they're 50 miles west, is yours going to come up? And so that's what, is a good test. Looking through a guest browser or looking incognito mode, searching, for what your product or service is while you're in a different city or a different state. I had a customer, it was a gym, and he said, I'm always number one on Google. I'm always the top at maps. There's no point in advertising. And then I sent him a screenshot, and I was a few miles down the road and he wasn't on there because there was like 4 other gyms between where I was at and where his gym was at. But he's only searched from while he was sitting in his office, and he just didn't know what it looked like on the other side of town where there was a bigger population of people. And then once you find that out, you go, oh, wow, I'm not up there at all. Um, you start spending a little more effort on Google My Business or whatever it happens to be.
I do, Warren, I just want to tell the class, I'm going to post something that I want you to do after the class. It's a link that helps Warren with his relationship with Google. Doesn't cost any money, but be looking for that link. I'll put it in our Facebook group and you can just click on it. And so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, if you register up there, they'll send you some information about the things that we talked about today. And then we also, if you have problems with your Google My Business, or there's something out there that's not right or whatever, we actually have sort of a back channel way to get that reviewed. If you attended one of the classes and it shows that you attended sort of this presentation by a Google partner, they'll assume that that you're actively interested in actually making it better.
Great.
So yeah, that's a cool thing. Yeah. So if you haven't done the Google My Business thing, it's pretty easy. Just go to Google, search Google My Business, or google.com/business, like they're mentioning here. Complete the information, add photos and videos. You can add discounts, coupons, answer reviews. This is something that as a business owner is super important. Engage with all the reviews. 1, collect the reviews, and 2, engage with them, even if they're negative. Google did a study that showed that consumers are almost 40% more likely to trust a business, even if they had a bad review, if the owner just responded in a positive manner. If you're a restaurant or you're producing something or someone gets something that's messed up and they go leave this terrible review, and you just say, hey, email me support@mywebsite.com. We'd love to resolve this for you. We're sorry you had this experience. If you're reasonable with people, and even if they don't reach out to you, it's kind of just for show, because then the next people who are thinking about buying from your business see that if they have a problem, you're going to be reasonable with them. And the other thing is collecting those reviews add a bit of insurance. So if you have 100 good reviews and then someone leaves one bad one, it's not really going to affect you at all. But if you never care about Google My Business, never collect any reviews, and then one day you get a bad one, that's 100% every time I get a call from a panic business owner. Man, we're gonna sue Google because there's this negative review and our business is destroyed. And we don't even know who this person is. I've never talked to them in my entire life, and they left like 3 bad reviews on our Google. It's like the same story every single time. To really just prevent all of that, build a good relationship with your customers. Be thoughtful and mindful. This business is your livelihood, or it's going to be your livelihood. Ask people to review it. Just get it. It's going to help you out. And no matter if it's a local business or if you sell stuff all over the world, having good reviews is essential. That's especially in e-commerce. If you don't have reviews on your products, something that big businesses do, especially on Amazon or others, is that they'll give out product for free or at a discounted cost. And then all they ask for in return is a review. And then they'll rebate you. I have some friends that just launched their product on Amazon, and that was one of the first strategies they did. Was they had 30 to 50 friends and family members all purchase the product, and they reimburse them for it, a rebate, if you left the review. And an honest review, they're not like making you say whatever. Obviously, hopefully your friends and family are going to leave something good, but that's how most of those products get started, with good reviews. And that's what helps your search ranking within e-commerce sites like Amazon, eBay, whatever, but also it increases conversion because customers are going to see all these positive reviews and assume you're more legitimate than just a 0 stars or 1 or 2 stars that from one bad review.
Okay.
There is a verification thing on the Google My Business. They'll send you a postcard about a week later, and so there you'll just enter in the code that they have. Skip that.
This is fantastic, Warren. Really great stuff.
That's as far as like some of the organic stuff, I know we kind of went over some of it, but that's kind of about it on that. We could probably talk a bit more on ads if people are interested in that, or anything else if you have any ideas.
Sure. Well, I think we're getting toward the end of our time, so
Yeah.
it might be a good time for questions from the floor. If anybody's has any thoughts or questions, it's a good chance to scratch that itch, I guess, as they say, right?
Yeah.
So let me reach out a little bit here. How about Elena? What do you have to think about on this?
Well, you see, I was just looking at that because I do have, my business shows up in Google, but what he was saying about the fact that if I look for the name of my business, I know it's going to show up in the top. But if I look for specifically like jewelry repair or jewelry, then I don't even show up.
Yeah.
Even though are some of the services that I offer. Now I have reviews from customers and they are great reviews. I didn't know that you can engage in responding to them. So that's a great information for me because I'm the type of person that I always like, they send me by Square, maybe, you know, a message saying that we did well and that they had a good experience. I always reply and send a coupon or something for discount. But you see, I didn't know that you can actually involve in responding to the, you know, to the reviews that your customers do for you.
Yeah, I would encourage you in your business to download the Google My Business app.
I just did.
Yeah. Yeah.
While I was just listening to you, immediately I did it.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's funny.
And quick.
Yeah, you are. That's it's funny. I showed my grandmother the app in her shop and she was just walking around one day and I was, what are you doing? She's like, I'm putting pictures on my Google My Business. And I looked at it and I was like, she had like 4,000 reviews and my business had like 400. And I was like, no wonder she's actually doing it.
Oh, that's good.
Well, you see, I don't even know who put the pictures of my business there, to tell you the truth. So, I mean, there's other pictures that I have that are even better than some of the ones that shows there that I can now try to go home and then start looking into it and see if I can get more engaged in it. And at the same time, I would love to in the future talk to you, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll connect you with Warren. We'll have that.
Thank you.
Let me ask Patrick Robinette. He's a grass-fed beef provider, farmer. Patrick, any thoughts from you on this stuff?
No, we were attempting to work with Google on our business on this, and then COVID hit, and then like everybody just disappeared. There's a lot of good information, like good little tidbits there. But I mean, in terms of ad space and stuff, we just haven't. This is one of those areas we rely mostly on social media to tell our story, and because the website is just there. So
are you guys shipping product or is it like shipped frozen or?
No, we're very unique. We own the cattle and we own our own beef processing facility, so we can actually send the beef out fresh anywhere in the world in 48 hours.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And so the problem comes in this is in our spaces, the problem comes in is that the big guys, Cargill, Jack Links, JBS, all the big guys have so much ad buy inside Google that we get swallowed up in all of that. I'd have to go more in depth and trying to really learn the little secrets with you,
Yeah.
and how to be more efficient with it. But like I was doing pay-per-click 20 years ago, back when
Yeah.
there was no beef folks on there, and shoot, I for $20 I'd get thousands of hits on the website. But now everybody does that. That's one of the marketing companies go to, that we just can't compete with the ad buys or the click space.
Yeah, sometimes that's the case. The thing that we've seen successful is getting super specific. Again, like you said, we really have to like get into it. But yeah, some of those media buys and stuff are super hard to compete. Organic search, like spending time on that content about like what separates your product or about just like health food in general. Another thing is partnering with influencers is really big now. I actually work with the top 3 sailing channels on YouTube, which is completely unrelated to your business, but how that works with a lot of people, say fitness people, like Thomas DeLauer or whatever, who only eats grass-fed beef, only whatever. He has sponsors that will either send him stuff, and he's getting a million views, a couple million views a week. And so you can get that media and impressions, and you can also get that trust people have in that person. Counts a lot more than just seeing like a banner ad on some random website. I would investigate heavily and find like 100 health food people or carnivore people or CrossFit people or whatever, and say, hey, so and so, we're unique, we ship fresh, it's not frozen, blah blah blah. And then some of them just, they like whoever's the best. It's not even really, it's not as gimmicky as you think. They're actually influencers that are extremely finicky to work with. I've seen them turn down huge deals.
Yeah, we made a play 3 years ago where we invited 40 food bloggers to the farm, fed them a dinner, sent them home with beef, told them to write about it, and they wrote about it. And so we had 40 blogs written out there, but there was zero translation between those blogs and the chefs that we're trying to, because like these folks were also, they're very specific in that they'll take pictures of dishes. And so like trying to show menu ideas, but there was a zero translation, because we're in a unique situation in that from a restaurant standpoint, they have to buy from US Food Cisco. Well,
Gotcha.
If you're not in US Food Cisco, then it didn't translate, and they couldn't, and then we couldn't get them translated that I'm shipping directly out of our facility. We're in, there's a whole bunch of pieces. I don't want to take control of the situation here.
Yeah.
But anyways, I would love to know if there was an opportunity that we can consult, talk on how to do this. Because dealing with Google themselves, they're just selling time, and so.
Well, one thing that I think, and you guys should definitely connect, but one thing I'm hearing in this conversation, direct to consumer is very different than trying to deal with, chefs and this kind of 2-step channel, I guess. I think
the B2B stuff.
Yeah, I think you're in a different place now with the market and the fact that buying behavior has changed. A lot of people are buying food online, which was not true 3 years ago, I think.
That's right.
So yeah, I encourage you guys to connect. I think might be a real benefit there. I want to just reach out to anyone else that may want to ask Warren before I know he has to go. Oh, by the way, Patrick, I think you guys should do a deal with Warren's Nice Grills. I think there might be a play there. He's a big seller of grills, and that just kind of struck me in the head. But anyway, anyone else? Anyone else want to speak up or forever hold your peace at this moment? Okay. I have one kind of unrelated question, and Warren, maybe you can help here. So we have people who do a lot of work with somebody like Etsy, for example. Can you drive traffic to an Etsy site just as well as an independent website, or is there a complication there?
There's a bit of a complication. If anyone's on Etsy, they're probably pretty familiar with how Etsy kind of forces you to pay a little bit for ads. And also they're going to like the 15% fee to cover ads,
Okay.
which is one of the reasons that Taylor went to her own website, was because she had more control over the ad spend on products that were more popular.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to pay as much fees. And also, with them, it's kind of funny because you would even see her shopping ads right next to Etsy's ad for her product, because they're, using the money that they make to get you sales. They're just basically doing Google ads for you. And so people are like, wow, we sell so much on Etsy, but it's really because you're paying 15% of your profit on ads anyways. And you just, you might not realize it.
I got you.
Yeah. So I'd say diversify if you're on Etsy. One, you can drive traffic to Etsy, but if I was going to drive traffic to anything, I would make a standalone site, migrate the products onto a Shopify, and then start doing your effort there, because in the long run, if Etsy decides to shut your short out, pause your ads or your products, or they go to 25% instead of 15%, and then like you can all of a sudden can't make any money. But that's more of a business decision thing than a marketing thing. But
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for another great presentation, Warren, and I'll make sure your contact information is in our communication so that folks can reach out to you. And I would argue that all of you should definitely take advantage of the free services that Warren pointed out, like Google My Business and some of this other stuff. Don't waste this time if you haven't done the basics. But if you do the basics, you start to see some action. He's a great place to go and get to that next level. So I would encourage everybody for that. Yeah, go ahead, Elena.
One last question. You mentioned the Facebook. What is it under the same name?
It's 719 Accelerate Rural Cohort.
Accelerate.
Yeah, Accelerate Rural Cohort, COHORT.
yeah, I'll share this slideshow with Dennis as well too, which has a lot of links in it.
Perfect. All right. Well,
Thank you.
yeah, I think Warren, you're golden, buddy. We really appreciate your
Thank you very much.
Hey, no worries.
Warren's
If anyone
only
has
like
any
16
questions.
years old. I mean, he's really young. It's just he's been doing this since he was a baby, I think.
If anyone's down in Washington, come check us out. We'll help you out.
All
Okay.
right. Well, thanks
Thank you.
everybody for
Yeah,
tuning in.
bye-bye.
We'll see everybody on Monday. Okay. Take care.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bye.